ready as I'll ever be.
Hello. Welcome to TROP-Cast. We're back after 2 weeks of absence because the world has gone upside down and we've no idea what's going to happen. We're back with the usual crew. Pat is here, John is here, Aidan is here. How's all the boys?
Flying it, Paddy. Flying it. How about yourself?
Well, you're making me look bad, boys. It's like you're all flashing these beards off and I'm sitting here looking with their bum face. I just had a shave, but to be honest, it was like 2 seconds ago. I actually had it here on camera with the lads. I was like, this is how you do it, lads. What? And they were saying, you have no fucking hair anyway. And I was like, that's fair enough.
I think everyone I know is growing a quarantine beard at this stage, apart from you.
A quarantine beard. A quarantine beard. We can't get to the shop to get razors. So it'd be disrespectful for us to go get razors at this point in time.
It's true.
It is true. To touch on that point, we hope everybody is keeping very well and safe. And everyone that is doing their best on the front line for us, we thank you very much. And we hope everybody stays safe. Next week, we actually will have a jigsaw, this charity jigsaw used for mental health, coming on to the show to talk to us about that. So make sure you come back next week and tune in for that one. But for this week, we'll get on with it. Episode 55. I can't believe Ronan's not here. That's the name of the episode.
Socially distant.
Social distance.
Happy birthday, Ronan, by the way.
Oh yeah, happy birthday.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday, Ronan.
Happy birthday. I forgot. I should have put the jingle. No, that's not the right one. Jingle bells? No. Aidan.
Jingle bells, sure, why not?
Aidan, what have you been playing?
I suppose I'll start off talking about the game that has absolutely overtaken my life, and that's Animal Crossing.
Nice. That game is absolutely everywhere right now, and I have no idea what it's about. So you may go into some details here. What we're doing.
Okay, Animal Crossing starts off. You're a small person, and you land on an island, and a Tanuki gives you a tent and debt.
Okay.
And then you catch bugs and you fish and you pick apples and until you have enough money to you pay off that debt, and then he turns your tent into a house and gives you even more debt.
That sounds like life.
That one guy.
Yeah. Except Tom Nook doesn't charge any interest and you have unlimited time to pay off the debt. So it's like life with less stress.
Interest-free loans. They're getting in on the times with
You
the
also
recession on the way.
you don't have a option on the loans, and he doesn't tell you how much the loan is for until after he's built your house. So it's like, okay, you want a bigger house. I've made your house bigger. Now you owe me 198,000 bells.
So you're just. It sounds like you're really just glutton for punishment. This game is about getting into debt. This is like you're like it's a VR, except for without the VR part.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Well, in Animal Crossing, it's if you've ever played Stardew Valley or a game like that, it's quite similar in that sort of it's a methodical. You plant things. It's all about creating and making your town. And
is this the second one of them? Is that the second game?
It's the fifth, as far as I know.
I have never played one of them games in my life.
There's one on GameCube, Wii, DS, 3DS, and I'm not sure if there was one on the Wii U.
It does seem like a DS game now. In fairness, it does seem like it would be on that.
Yeah, it's one of those games as well. It's not you can't go to bed to advance to the next day. The next day advances on the next day. So you might have like a couple hours of things to do, and then you're like, oh, I actually don't have anything more to do. I better put this down until the next day, and the next day comes, and
there's no speed running.
No, new people have moved into your town, or the two guys who run the shop might have made the shop a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And you help it.
Is it online?
With all the things.
At all?
It is. It's online in that people can come and visit your island.
Okay. No, they can't stay. Would you see them on the island if you're there?
Yeah, you can see them on the island, and when they're there, you can make them your best. You have friends, and if they've visited your island, you can make them one of your best friends. And people who are your best friend can then pick up things and move things around your island, or
help you pay off your debt.
They can, or they could ruin everything.
Nice.
Pick your friends wisely, so.
Pick your friends wisely. You never know what's going to happen.
It's like life.
Just like life, yeah.
But yeah, I'm on day 7. The third person has moved into my village tomorrow. The housing place that Tom Nook owned becomes a big building, and that's going to allow me to terraform and build ramps. So yeah, it's just a fun thing.
And what else are you playing?
I've also been playing. I got Call of Duty. I was playing Warzone. I don't know if I like Warzone too much, but I love the standard multiplayer in Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
I'm playing quite a bit of that.
I think a good few of us have been playing Warzone. Well, I know, Pat, you probably haven't, have you?
No, I've just fallen away from first-person shooters altogether in recent years. So
yeah, well, we could talk about Warzone for a little bit since I think John has obviously been playing. He's been playing with me anyway. My personal opinion on it is I'm kind of on the fence about it. So I've played, I'd say, all the popular battle royales since they came out, especially Fortnite or whatever, or Blackout last year, which would be close representation of this. The only difference, the big difference between this and Blackout is this actually does feel like a COD game, where Blackout didn't feel like a COD game to me. It didn't have the mechanics the same. It didn't have the shooting didn't feel the same as this game does. And I'm not sure which one I'd rather. So that's kind of why I'm on the fence about it. But it's a very good game. Like 150 players are in it. It's a lot bigger than the last one, and it's probably going to go to 200 players. And they're doing the updates. Call of Duty this year is probably been the most popular year for Call of Duty in a long time. I'd say you agree. Yeah. Last year was good.
Last year was pretty popular as well, like, because Blackout was such a big hit as well.
Yeah, but like Call of Duty itself as a full game, I think has probably made a lot more money this year than it did last year. What do you think of it, John?
I think I really like it. I know you really like it as well. You just have a few concerns about it. And I'd be the same. I'd have a few concerns about it too, but I really enjoy it. I just I'd agree with you that it's very, very COD and it's very arcadey, and I really like
that.
Which
is okay, obviously.
Yeah, no, but to me it's more than okay. That's like, and I know people have different
opinions.
I can't think of the word flavors, or their flavors isn't the word I'm thinking of, but have their own favorite versions of these games. Like you like Fortnite and stuff like that. And you like a bit of PUBG sometimes and stuff like that. And I love these types of them because it's so arcadey and it's just run and gun, going mental. If you die, it doesn't matter. You're going back to the gulag and you get to fight again. And even if you die again, your buds can get some money and you can come back.
That's a great addition. The gulag is a very good addition.
Gulag is fantastic. I love the gulag.
Yeah,
what would you?
I love it. It's my favorite battle royale so far, because I'm not a big battle royale fan. I'm not.
It's probably the only one you've really stuck down to play. Except for Blackout, though, isn't it? Really?
Sorry.
It's probably the only one you've really put down a lot of time and effort into with this one.
Other than Blackout, I put a bit of time into Blackout as well. But yeah, it is, because probably the other one I put more time into, not more time into, but the most time into other than them is PUBG, and I played very little PUBG.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Aiden, what would you
yeah, I would go more, and I'm really enjoying the actual Modern Warfare this year. I got convinced to buy it because all my friends had it. It's the first Call of Duty I've bought, I think, since Modern Warfare 2.
Probably.
Yeah. No, I bought I've bought the first Black Ops.
No,
since that. So that's the last one I had, and it's just, it's really good. I love gunfight. Gunfight's good.
Gunfight's brilliant, yeah. It's like it's been a fantastic year for COD. I really do like the multiplayer and all that stuff. It's not my taste of games with shooters have kind of changed in the last year. I think I'd rather the slower paced tactical shooter. That's why I love Gunfight, because it is very tactical compared to the normal multiplayer in COD, where it's fastest reaction wins, and you keep corners and you camp and you move fast. Whereas I'm getting it with Tarkov and with all the other games, I kind of slowed down my pace and be a bit more tactical with it. Any more games, Aiden? Or?
Yeah, I've actually been playing quite a lot. I've put quite a bit of time into Pokemon Mystery Dungeon DX, the remake. It's the remake of the one that came out on the DS and the Game Boy Advance years ago.
Yeah.
It's like a grid-based dungeon crawly game. You wake up and discover that you're a Pokemon. Like, the whole idea is your main character was human, wakes up one day and goes, "Oh, I'm a Charmander now for some reason," and then you choose a partner and you meet up with your partner. I chose Mudkip, and me and Mudkip start our own rescue agency. You go into dungeons, you rescue Pokemon, and sometimes they join your team, and it's the perfect sort of game to play for like a half an hour before you go to bed, because like the dungeons usually take about that amount of time.
A great twist for that would be actually find out at the end that you're not actually a Pokemon. Yeah, you never were a human.
I've-
You always been a
You're mental.
Pokemon.
No, sorry.
I have been told that this game has one of the best stories in a Pokemon game, and I have no idea where it's going. So you might be right.
I could be right. I've never
Yeah,
known.
you really could.
The description of the game that you gave at the start sounds like a dubious fan fiction you might come across on the internet.
It sounds like a Leonardo DiCaprio film.
woke up
He just says Leonardo DiCaprio with a big twist in the middle. He's not actually a Pokemon. He never was.
Yeah. Apart from that, I also got the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist game for Switch. I've been playing a lot. Actually, the Switch is the thing I've been playing the most this week. It's been fantastic.
It's a great little console.
It's absolutely fantastic.
There's a lot going around that the Switch is selling out at the minute. That the people are hard to get their hands on it, which is more than likely what Nintendo will do. They always try stuff like that, and it could be just a normal thing. You know what's happening and everything. But hopefully everyone that wants it has it at the minute. But it's a great little system. Has to be fair. What about you, Pat? What have you been playing? If you can hear me.
I have just been engrossing myself in fighting games. So recently, I'm still playing Dragon Ball Fighter Z. That's like consuming me into a deep dark hole that I don't think I'll ever crawl out of. But the season 3 recently came out there, and there's so much to work around with because they added so much more into it. They had like the assist attacks where you can call in one of your partners in to do an attack, but now there's 3 versions of the assist attack, so there's so much more mix up to the combat of the game, and I'm so far behind. And when you find someone who knows how to use the system, say your prayers, you're gone.
Yeah.
But apart from Dragon Ball Fighter Z, I also finally jumped onto Guilty Gear with Xrd Rev 2, and
I haven't a notion even what that is. To be honest, so you may get it out to us what it is.
Okay, so it's
very
another
pretty.
fighting game. It's very pretty. Yeah, it is. It's what sort of started the fighting, the animation style for Dragon Ball Fighter Z's and Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, which is coming out later this week. But Guilty Gear is a much more technical fighter. If you play in the technical mode, there's no button mashing. You can't button mash or else you die. There's no saving it with that there, but there's so much more to it. And I found myself now that I usually do a bit of button mashing. I'm not ashamed to say that. I'm not the best at fighting.
Shame.
But I'm finding myself that I'm like, okay, press this button, that button, and it's actually really very good at learning you how to get out of that mindset of button mashing.
Yeah.
To actually
combinations and learning actually properly going on.
Combination. Yeah. But if you're not up for that, like they do actually have another mode where it's basically called stylish, which you can mash your buttons then. And I think that's a great idea for them to actually have that there. So when you do have people over who might want to play the game, they're not scared off by the fact that when the press
Give me a minute. I need. What's the controls?
Exactly.
I've often done that myself.
But overall, I've put about maybe 10-15 hours into it over the last 3 days, and it is a phenomenal fighter. And I'm probably it's probably going to take over some amount of my time.
Nice.
Until
it's great when you find a game like that.
Comes out. Not really, because literally I have like 4 or 5 other fighting games. I'm like, I can play those too, and all have their little bits and pieces. Are like, yeah, this is good. And the one thing that really annoys me now is, it's not a bad thing to be annoyed about, but all fighting games are sort of being updated constantly now. They're changing, which means when you're getting into one fighter, a week later down the line, another fighter like Tekken 7 recently had an update there with a new character and everything, and they've changed up a few of the characters. Not for the better for it. But they give Mishima's like a really good buff and all that, and just decided like they didn't really do much more than that.
It's kind of hard to keep everyone fresh all the time. That's the problem they run into. Is that when there's so many different fighting games and they're all trying to keep up with each other, they end up trying to outdo each other, and maybe it doesn't work all the time.
But they have a little problem where it's, how to put it down in words, is that they have like, people will say what characters deserve a bit of a buff. And what Namco is doing instead is that instead of going for those characters and buffing those and nerfing those who the community think would be right, they're sort of giving buffs and pluses to characters that are used a lot. and characters that have
does make
always
sense.
been underpowered are
Okay.
never getting the buffs. Like
Oh.
Gigas.
So the most
Gigas
popular
is-
ones are getting the buff, and everyone else
Yeah.
been left
Yeah.
aside.
But Gigas is like he's one of like a lot of people say that he's so overlooked. Like he never gets a buff. He's always just sort of there. He's not going down. He's not going up. He's just
Yeah.
He's not
just
fun to play as though.
No.
But,
Okay.
yeah, it's
He's not fun to play as. I really don't like
yeah.
Gigas.
I don't like him either. But like at the same time, they have
As
to
long as my
sort of make
princess
every
presses
character.
is okay.
John, what do
I'll
you
never
play?
forget when they. I was going to say just quickly. I'll never forget when they freaking nerfed Jury in freaking Street Fighter 4. Because that was my main, and I was very, very, very mad.
Happens. Same thing when it happens with guns all the time in different games. Oh, this is brilliant. 2 weeks later, no, it's not.
No, they buffed Cloud in Smash recently, and that was awesome.
But
No
like,
one-
did he
not
need a
everyone's gonna be
buff
happy.
in Smash? Did he?
What?
Did he need a buff in Smash? Did he?
I think so. Well, it was okay, but yeah, they buffed a lot of his moves. It wasn't the last character release; it was the one before that. They buffed Cloud quite a bit. It was nice.
Well, see,
The
that's when it
Marvel's Limit
matters.
builds.
What
was
about you,
great.
J-Dog? What have you been playing?
I've been playing a few things. I've been playing in my free time. Once again, I'm playing Fallout New Vegas. It's pretty much one of my favorite games. Yeah, pretty much one of my favorite games. Reason why I love it is because I probably cleared it about 4 or 5 times, but every time you play it, it's different every single time because you can play it in so many different ways. This time I've never actually done it before. Funnily enough, I'm basically playing as like just a antagonist. Basically, I'd never once sided with the power gangers, and I'm all about the power gangers in this one. Caesar's Legion love me. I'm just a bad guy. And I've never been a bad guy in that game before because I usually play games as a paragon, but like I'm going full renegade on this one.
How many times have you finished the game? Or played the game?
Well,
even?
4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times.
Played
Have
the
you-
game.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Played the game, what?
Yeah.
A million times.
No. Probably just a few more times. There's probably a few times where I said, I've played this too many times. I'm not finishing it and started playing something else.
And then came back to a couple months
but-
later.
Yeah, it's just a great game. It's so fun. Like Fallout New Vegas is the best Fallout in my opinion. It's so good. Same as who did freaking what's that game called? Outer Worlds.
Obsidian.
Yeah. But like Outer Worlds was very good as well, but not a patch on Fallout New Vegas. But so I was playing that. And I was also playing for the first time I was streaming Death Stranding yesterday, and that game is like nothing I've ever played before. And I mean that in a good way.
Just start falling over.
I was a bit. There's a lot. I will say, very and like it's. Oh really? A Kojima game like this? It's very much cutscene heavy. For the first hour or first 2.5 hours, honestly. It's like you play a little bit, and then you've got like a 20-minute cutscene, and then you play another little bit, and you got a 20-minute cutscene. But I think I heard that about the game that the start is really because it's just exposition. They kind of throw a lot of stuff at you, so they have to have these long cutscenes to kind of explain it to you. It's kind of somewhat explain to you what's happening.
I just might just watch you
but-
stream it instead of playing it. Maybe that sounds like just a
There you go.
YouTube game. Just like to
But
watch somebody play
It's
it.
the same experience, Paddy, because you just be watching cutscenes. I'm only
That's
joking.
it. That's it.
Just on the exposition there, if it's that heavy, that sounds like really poor game design on storytelling. in
Obviously, never
general,
played a
if it's
Kojima
really
game before.
20s.
Wait, what? This is the king of exposition.
But I don't
No, I
think that
get
he
you.
should get away with that though. Like even if he is Kojima, you can't just go, "Oh, it's Kojima game, 20 minutes of exposition. That's grand."
But at the same time, 20 minutes later, I got dragged around into the abyss, and then I got chased around a map by a land squid. So that was, I don't think that's ever happened to me in a video game before. I don't think anyone would ever think of a black land squid in an oily field where you need to get out of the oily field so the thing doesn't kill you. It's one of the most, and I've played pretty much every Kojima game bar. What's that cop one? Police Knots or whatever. It is.
Strider?
But like,
I'm not
I haven't
gonna
played that,
lie,
but,
John,
like-
but the oily field and the squid coming after you sounds like some sort of strange, fucked up hentai.
the oily fields.
The oily
The
fields.
oily-
We've
It could easily be.
We better move on here a bit to the news. I've only been really.
It's
playing,
a good game. Before we move on, it's I'm kind of half joking. It's a fantastic game, and I'm really enjoying it.
Okay. I've only
The
been.
falling animation is really fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all. Every time I go into a stream or a YouTube video, that's all I see is someone. I'm after bringing too much. Going up a field.
That's pretty much it.
All I've been playing really is some Call of Duty and stuff like this week. I've been flat. Even the last couple of weeks, I did pick up Doom Eternal last night, so I probably will be playing them after. But I'm after purchasing it, so I might as well. I'll give that a shot. But that's all really. But we'll move on to the news because we took a lot of it up. Sure, why not?
Why not?
Gaming is having a never before seen boom, with many stocks like Nintendo and Ubisoft hitting an all-time high. Behind the scenes, it's affecting release dates and production, with many games being postponed. So the question is, can this boom continue? So what I'm trying to hit on here is, I know we're having this surge at the minute because there's so many people that have unfortunately been sent home, and some people have been let go of work, and some people are just filling the time with a bit of gaming or whatever that. So a lot of games are being purchased right now. The stock is going up because we don't really know when this is going to end for the foreseeable future. But it's kind of 3, 4, 5, 6 months down the line. I wonder, is this going to continue? Is this really going to? How badly is this going to affect gaming? What do you, Pat, first?
Well, it will affect gaming, obviously. Like, even Sakurai from Super Smash Bros., the director of it, he was talking about, for example, that the new patch of DLC characters coming next season pass, it's going to be most likely delayed by the coronavirus. So if something as small as a season pass, not that a season pass is small, but if something like that compared to a full game, you have to think that things are going to get pushed back anyway. And with how many physical releases are saying that we're only going to put out a limited amount of physical editions, and then we'll have up the digital, but physical will be down. It has me feeling that there's going to be very few limited physical games out there, that because they won't have the time or the manpower to produce them, because I don't think they'd be considered essential compared to other things that need to be produced for people's health. Even
to be fair and to be honest, the whole world is going to go into a recession, and it's already starting to happen. So will people even have the money to start spewing out for the games in a few months? And do you know what I mean? It is a luxury at the end of the day that a lot of us take it for granted at the minute. And I know we don't really know. I don't think it's going to really, really badly affect the gaming industry, but it's going to take a hit. Aiden?
Yeah, everything's going to take a hit. I get you. Everything, the economy, a lot of things are going to take a hit. I think gaming included. Yeah.
I remember there was a thing from I remember from the last recession, when things go bad, people tend to games don't really go bad because a lot of people would buy a game to save money. If that would make any sense.
Yeah, that does make
sense.
They'd be
instead of going out and spending a lot of money, I can spend 30, 40 euro on a game, and that'll do me for a couple of weeks. So I remember that from the last recession. The games weren't really hit. They kind of grew the whole time. Games have been growing steadily for the past 30 years now. But
that's true.
I don't know if it'll take a hit in the same way. I do think the thing's going to slow down. Bungie has also been the roadmap for the current season is going to be a bit out of whack. We're all working from home.
Yeah. It's
I think.
John?
Luckily, Final Fantasy X Final Fantasy 7 still coming out on the 10th.
That's what I say.
I think the numbers we're seeing now, are going to go down because people are just buying games because they've nothing else to do, and there's people probably buying games that would normally not buy games, but they're sent home, and maybe they were hardcore gamers in their early 20s, and then they got a job and they got a family and they've just been working. Now they're working from home, or maybe they've lost their job, unfortunately, and they're going, sure, I may as well pick up a game. Maybe they have more financial things that they need to be worrying about, but they might pick up, as Aidan was saying, it's cheaper than going out, and you might get a few weeks entertainment out of a game. So I think we're seeing these rising in numbers now, but I think it'll go back pretty much to normal. Once this thing, I like to be hopeful, once this thing clears up, I think it'll just kind of go back to normal. The price, just the way things are going, but I think I was kind of on the same page of Paddy saying that it would affect it because I think it's going to affect everything. But I think you're right, Aidan. I think it will affect it, but I don't think it'll affect it in a way that will. It might cripple some smaller ones. I'm not really talking about indie because maybe indie you can make indie games. Well, maybe because as you were saying, like if something as small as a DLC patch. And again, no, that's small, and there's a lot of work in it, but it's not a full game. Like for Smash Brothers is getting delayed, then yeah, I think things are going to get delayed, and I think that will at least slightly hit the market for now, but I think it will bounce back, honestly.
Our next bit of news
Just before we go on, can I put in one little bit there? Just with how well the sales in general. Like if you take a look at Animal Crossing, like in 3 days, it just sold like I think under 2 million copies. So you have to take into account that some game like Doom Eternal just came out. There's loads of big games
in Japan.
Yeah.
Just in Japan, yeah. That's the scary.
Just in Japan, it's the highest selling Switch game of all time.
Which it's incredible what that's doing in numbers. And like you have to think like just the amount of games that are coming out just over the next few weeks, there's gonna be a big rise in sales. Like you have Final Fantasy, you have Resident Evil coming out as well. Like it's Persona 5 Royale. There's so many games that are going to come out that people will buy.
A bit of Warzone unintentionally like dropped at the exact right time.
Yeah, did.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
100%.
They hit the jackpot with that timing.
Just before we move on, thanks lads. These are sending some into stars. Seamus, Ronan sent some as well. David sent loads as well, and someone else. Who was it? No, that was it. David Mears. Thanks very much, boys, for sending them so much. We're still kind of on the same topic here. I think Ronan actually wants to jump in a few minutes. We'll see if that's possible because I kind of have stuff set up. We'll try.
Stick him in the middle. I know it's a lot of work.
I would
stick him in the middle there. Look at the
Yeah. Go on. I'm going to leave this tweet up here now. After pulling up twice. Go on.
Yeah, I want to say one more thing about this, and that I think games that are all about wasting all of your excess money on skins might take a hit.
Yeah, I hope so.
I think.
No, it's joking.
I think that's the whole idea of games where you can spend money. I think those are the sort of games that'll get hit by a recession because a lot of people, those games tend to sort of prey on like lower income people who get like heavily addicted to things, and I think that might take that might be a positive side effect of the recession.
This next bit is kind of in the same category anyway. But like, this is the third time, so third time lucky. Let's pull it up. The tweet from Capcom: as we know, the coronavirus disease COVID-19 is having a widespread impact as respective governments in Europe have instituted various restrictions. I should have probably made this bigger to prevent any additional spread. Although the global release for Resident Evil 3 remains April 3rd, 2020, some European markets may experience delayed deliveries or availability, as Pat was saying, of physical goods, including disc copies of games. We are closely following official regulations to ensure we are prioritising the safety of our fans, employees and partners. As such, we are in frequent communication with our local distribution and retail partners in each market to make copies available once local import conditions allow. Please check your local retailers for further updates regarding individual orders and availability of Resident Evil 3 physical copies and collector's editions. We'll do our best to keep you updated on the major changes, and thank you for your patience. In the meanwhile, we hope your loved ones stay safe. The Capcom Europe team. This tweet is, we've been seeing this coming up a lot with a load of different things. Unfortunately, this is something to happen. But I can see people buying Resident Evil 3 and then trying to sell it again if this is the way it's going to be. So you're going to have a lot of people trying to make money out of this situation, which is going to happen. And this could be. I'm not sure if it could be tactics. I'm not saying they are doing that, but you never know. Like there could be. I can't see them stopping in factories printing presses and stuff like that unless they're told to shut down in certain countries. I suppose there is a lot of countries on lockdown at the minute. What do you think is going to happen here? Resident Evil 3, is there going to be a massive money to buy it?
Probably. Like I can see people definitely. Sorry, Pat, you work away.
No, you go ahead there, John. You go ahead.
Okay, sorry. Well, thank you. No, I think I do think that like that will happen. I didn't think of it until you just said it, but yeah, people are going to buy it to fleece it on eBay and Amazon, 100%. That's definitely going to happen because people are going to be like, oh, I just want the physical copy. Even if they're going to jack up the price by 30 quid, even more maybe, people will buy it because they're like, no, I just wanted that physical copy of Resi. Even though more copies will probably come out later, they want to play it now. It doesn't affect me personally because I pretty much buy everything digital. I have for years. I was always weird with physical copies of stuff. I was always that guy that would clear a game, go into Extravision, and trade in that game just to kind of, get a cheaper price on a different game. Hey, Ronan. That's why I have such a small collection back there. But
there's the bear.
It doesn't affect me. Hello, Ronan. So people who like physical
keep
games, I said Pat or one of you, like I know some of you, like, and obviously you with your retro store and stuff, Patty, you love physical copies and stuff. So this, for me, it doesn't really affect me too much.
Ronan, what do you think? Like it never happened. He's just here. He's here. What do you think?
I missed, I'd say, the last 30 seconds.
Just on about Resident Evil being some will have a lot of physical releases. They won't have as many physical releases coming out because of the current situation with the COVID-19. What do you think it's going to be? Like I was saying that there's going to be people buying it and they're going to be upping the price and going to be selling it out again if that's the actual situation from Capcom at the minute.
So what you're saying is they're releasing a limited amount of physical.
Yeah, they're saying that it's probably going to be a limited edition, a limited amount coming out because of what's going on. They're not saying it is possible. That's what the tweet says anyway. More than likely, there's going to be less copies physical than there is digital, which is
my opinion would be go out and get yourself a copy of Resident Evil 3 because it's probably going to be worth something in a few years.
Yeah.
I suppose you have to look at the manufacturing industry as well. Like a lot of the factories are closing down now due to the lockdown. So I heard you saying that it's possibly a tactic, which it possibly could be, but I haven't seen many businesses with shady tactics in this pandemic.
Business is business at the end of the day, and I'm not saying it is happening, but it's a possibility. I'm not saying it is.
Yeah, no.
That game's printed though, and the copies already exist.
Yeah, but they probably, I don't know if they put out for how much distribute. They probably mean that they have a certain amount going out day one, and then there'll probably be more out the week after. Like I don't think they'd make them all at once and then chuck them out. I'm not sure. Maybe they do. I'm not. I kind of think
the problem they're talking about is a lot of these are going to GameStops and they're all closed.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
So the copies, I think the copies kind of will exist. It's just at launch, like Amazon's probably the only way you're going to get it.
Well, GameStop's still selling things through online, so you can still get stuff from GameStop. Yeah, it's basically you're paying online.
I have to bring up. I have to bring this up now that GameStop's mentioned, but like them America saying that they were essential. It's just,
oh my god!
It's just
absolutely ridiculous.
I watched a lot on it. And some lad got in the call.
They're still open at Mullingar, guys.
Are they? Yeah. I watched. We're not really. Are we in lockdown yet?
No.
But in America,
all non-essentials.
Everywhere is locked down apart from GameStop.
But I have to put it out there that they are not the only company that's trying this at the minute. I know myself personally. Like I don't know what would you say is essential or not, but I know a person working in Halfords, and they're telling me they're essential, and they were absolutely disgusted with their management. But sure, maybe it is. I suppose you need car batteries. I don't know, but like, a lot. Like you could go in big detail about this. Is people are afraid to lose their businesses at the end of the day too. So like it's a balance. It's very hard to know what to do. Health and business is kind of, do you know what I mean? It's hard to know.
And like this is probably the end of GameStop.
I'm not sure. I wrote that article that we were talking about GameStop the week before all this kicked off properly. Like it was there already, but it really kicked off the last couple of weeks, big time.
I'd imagine if they're fighting this hard, they must be like, we can't miss out on these big releases that are coming. Like this, that's how I feel. Like
I still do think it's the end. I feel like even the stuff that's going on today, my personal thing is that this is going to push more towards digital for every company, because you're way more safe in it with a factory or a store or something, or a big warehouse or something like that. There, instead of having a storefront with rent, with people under you, with overheads, with everything, you take all that out of the equation, and you've got a big warehouse and you've got people working there. Like, I just think this is going to push towards it more. I don't know if GameStop can open again. I hope they do. I don't want people losing their jobs, but I hope they do. I hope they do open again.
I don't want them to close, but yeah, it looks bad for them.
Yeah. Anyone else need more to talk about that? No. I think we talk.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of GameStop, I think they should have been shut, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Everywhere in Mullingar has been shut apart from GameStop, and I think it's a little bit ridiculous that they go. Did you say they go down as essential in America?
No. Yeah, they tried to pull that. Same as who in England did it? What's that name of that Sports Direct tried it as well. I
understand why the motor industry, that's an essential business.
Yeah, but, Halfords doesn't really sell that much motor stuff. They don't have anything in store. All they have got is radios and like car seats and bikes. That's probably what's over them is bikes and stuff like that. It comes down to other people are afraid. Like, you know, people are afraid for their loved ones and stuff like that. And you really have to convince them that you are essential and like food is essential. You know what I mean? You really have to convince people.
It's deplorable. Yeah. It's actually deplorable. Like putting those staff members at risk.
Yeah, while they sit at home, while the corporates are sitting at home drinking tea.
But that's it. I think you said it in one word. Corporate.
Corporate sitting at home drinking.
I think it's absolutely deplorable.
Okay, let's move on to some happier news. Sony PlayStation released some fantastic PS Plus games this month with 2 mammoth titles coming for everyone to play during the downtime. Downtime for some. Sorry, Dirt Rally 2. Okay, who's played it? Roland. Roland played it. That's it. Roland, tell us about that game. Give us a little bit of a lowdown on it. I hope you aren't the only one to play the next one as well, because it could be a problem.
I played the both of them, but yes. First of all, probably 2 of the best titles I've seen. PS Plus release. Dirt Rally, the Dirt Rally series, I think Dirt Rally 1 is the best rally game of all time. Up there with one of the best racing games of all time, to be honest with you. I would enjoy Dirt Rally the exact same way as I enjoy Forza Motorsport. What they did was, do you remember they had that Dirt series that was that kind of arcadey rally kind of esque? I think it was 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, and 4. So, I love Dirt 4.
Oh, there was 4 as well. So there you go. So and then what they did was they brought it back and they put a low budget team, or they had a smaller team with a lower budget, and went just totally sim like with Dirt Rally. Dirt Rally 2 is everything that Dirt Rally 1 was. They release content on a monthly basis. There's like a season pass that you can get where there's new tracks added every month. This is a really, really good game for people, you know, at home that want to get into a good car game, because it takes a long time to master. It's a really, really difficult game, but there is something unbelievable about it when you start getting good at it.
I'd say John's played the next one anyway, Uncharted 4. Am I guessing, Mary?
You're guessing wrong. I haven't played it. I've never really gotten into the Uncharted series. No, and that's one of my games. That's one of my games that I really should do the whole series.
Okay, who's played it? Come on now. Pat, go on, Pat. You can give us a lowdown then.
So Uncharted 4, obviously one of Naughty Dog's biggest series, and I think I'd say it's the second best Uncharted in the whole entire series as so far. I think Uncharted 2 still takes the crown of the crop, but Uncharted 4 takes the story in a lot more sort of explorative way, more serious, more in depth with Nathan, and sort of come to terms that he's sort of reaching the end of his treasure hunting career, and it's incredibly experienced. It's a fantastic story. The graphics are brilliant, and the acting in it is also just spot on. So
nice.
I think it's the best Uncharted game, to be honest.
Is that the last one, or is there more one?
It's the last one. There was a DLC after that came out, but the thing about this game is it's a different writer than the first 3, so it feels completely different. It's Neil Druckmann, who wrote The Last of Us, was brought on to do this game, and it really shows that it's a more mature story. You get a nice round off to the Nathan Drake story, and personally I thought it was the best in the series, because it feels different to the old ones. Like, I love The Last of Us, but the Uncharted games, I could take it or leave it. Uncharted 4 is a phenomenal game for anyone that isn't into the Uncharted series but loves The Last of Us. Check out Uncharted 4.
I have to check it out. So,
it's beautiful.
It's beautiful. That's
it's
all.
Beautiful.
We'll leave it there.
Genuinely,
it's
gorgeous.
Gorgeous, yeah.
So it's a big screen TV kind of game. That's what you want to be playing on.
100%.
Yeah. We have a new game trailer, a new gameplay trailer for a game called Rogue. So we're gonna check it out now, and you can let us know what you think.
Wake up, American! You guys ready? It's time to get paid! Don't worry, Demo was born ready.
Follow my lead. Almost at the drop zone. Get your heads in the game. Let's put on a show!
that sniper for you. I'm taking the flank. Today is not your day, huh? I really love these grenades. Rain pain, rain money. You suck. You make this too easy.
Enemies have the
Lethal out.
Hello, we're back.
Oh,
Hello.
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 Just get everyone to shut up. No, we're joking.
So that was a game.
So that was Rogue.
Company.
From Hi-Res Studios and First Watch game, Roguelike released in the summer and is described as slick cross-platform team shooter Rogue Company, delivering action tactics and a whole lot of attitude. And as you can see from the trailer, Rogue has energetic gameplay and a third-person action movie flair. A quote from the makers reads as follows: gamers should be able to play with their friends regardless of platform. I agree, says Luce here. He didn't say that, I said that. Rogue Company is all about bringing together a huge community of gunslingers and giving them a depth of gameplay to show off to their individual style. We're tired of grown-up shooters being overly serious, says Chris Larson. But that's because they're for grown-ups, no? Rogue Company matches a modern, high-style universe with tight tactical action gameplay. The alpha testers are loving it, and we can't wait to welcome more of you to gear up the launch. There's actually an alpha going on for that at the minute. So, Aidan, what do you think of that? Did you watch a little bit of the trailer there?
Yeah, I have like anti-interest of almost any game made by Hi-Res.
Do you? Okay, why is that?
Because I just think I don't like Smite at all. Paladins annoyed me because it was just a cheap rip-off of Overwatch, and now this looks like a cheap rip-off of Fortnite.
Yeah. I say like it is definitely it's something to do with
technically
Epic
Paladins
and
was in
stuff.
production first.
What? Was it?
Yeah, apparently that's what I watched the thing about it, but that's.
I don't know, but high-res games never appealed to me. They never do. I was always like, I'd already chosen my MOBA, and then people try to get me to play Smite, and I hate it. And yeah, I think that's my main thing about it. I don't like Smite.
Does anyone like it? Have a look at it there.
It looks like Fortnite.
looks okay.
Let's just get the cards on the table, folks.
It does look a lot.
It looks like a Fortnite clone, in my
Definitely.
opinion.
Yeah.
Is it free to play?
It will be.
It probably will
think
be.
it
I don't
Looks
think it's
every
said
bit
out
of
loud.
a free to play game.
Yeah. Let's face it, like
me,
Epic and
it
probably stuff are probably
doesn't-
trying to come up with something different.
Like I think my son would look at that and go, "Oh my god, it looks like Fortnite. I'm definitely going to play it." Whereas we'd probably do the complete opposite. Would that make sense?
Might go play Fortnite. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh, cool. Fortnite. It's like Fortnite.
Cool, it looks like Fortnite.
I like the thing that they're saying. I'm all for games being less serious, but yeah, this doesn't even look. This looks like a drab Fortnite.
Yeah.
It does.
How many times can we say Fortnite in one game, one show? Fortnite.
Fortnite.
It says a lot. It says a lot less than this.
It looks like it's doing nothing original. Put it that way.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
there's
zero
nothing that makes
originality.
Seamus, thanks for all the stars, you madman. As usual.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's worried about this one, but YouTube have decided that during our current outbreak, it would be best for it to set its default quality, which is everyone has to realize that, on video to 480p, as they're experiencing high usage, understandably, in the last few weeks. You can set it to higher quality by clicking the small cog below your video, but maybe watching some videos at standard definition might not be the worst thing in the world to ease the pressure of the infrastructure. I guess I'm guessing all you lads wouldn't mind just watching some videos in 480.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Oh,
bother
yeah.
me.
Well,
I think we have to consider that there is so much strain on the internet, and anyone that's using it in this day and age can appreciate that if we didn't have it, the world would be a lot boring.
I went to YouTube earlier and it didn't set mine to default. I don't know if this is straight to happened here yet, but maybe it's happened in America. But I can actually understand it, like with Netflix and everything that's going on. There's so many people watching at the minute. Do you know what I mean? It's absolutely mental.
It's phenomenal how it's actually held up, to be honest. Like, and I'm not getting any speed drops or anything like that. And I mean, half the world is on it at the moment, and watching Netflix and doing these high bitrate activities.
Yeah, well,
Netflix put down their quality as well.
Yeah, that's what they're all doing it now. I'd say they're all going to fall in line and start doing it to like save it a bit. They could be saving money either.
I think PlayStation's putting a speed cap on the downloads this week as well.
That's it. I'm out.
Me only have to get me a new internet.
I just need to start the preload for Final Fantasy VII earlier. Yeah, that's all.
I've downloaded every single player game possible on my PS4 just in case. Just in case we have a blackout.
Every one player game imaginable. Pat, what about you? What do you think of this? 480p?
On me, this isn't actually going to be much of a. I watch videos in 480p all the time because I can't go above or sort of waiting for nothing to just the circle to load. But yeah, this isn't going to be new to me. The download speeds might be worse, but I won't be able to tell because all my downloads are at 99 plus hours.
Okay. We'll move on. We've slagged them enough. I'm only getting a lot. I'm like, I've got great internet now. You can all check off.
It's actually why I stream at such a low quality. It's not because my internet is terrible.
It's so everybody can watch it. That's really good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
Next, we have a new God of War comic book series from Dark Horse called God of War Fallen God. We'll focus on. Is it Kratos? Is that how you say his name? Or Kratos? Yeah. Journey from the end of God of War 3 until the beginning of the most recent franchise entry on the PlayStation 4. Players familiar with the God of War series were taken back when they were reintroduced to the characters in the latest God of War title, as Kratos had not only grown older and abandoned his realm of Greek mythology, but he had also apparently mellowed out over the years and now a father and a teacher. Apparently, this story will focus heavily on Kratos' inner demons, something which is also driving force behind many of the video games in God of War franchise. Some of the description of the comic book says Kratos rages against the one foe that has proven to be uncontrollable, himself. But a war against oneself is unwinnable and only invites madness.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Paddy. I love that.
To be honest, I'm not mad for comic books, but I definitely would be interested in picking this up to see the story because, like the God of War, the last game was unbelievable. Like I can remember I haven't played the old games in a long time, but I remember the basic premise of them. That he was an angry man and he couldn't be controlled, and it was himself that was destroying everything. But this sounds like this is a great way to dive more into the story. Did any of you actually read comic books or purchase them weekly or no?
Yeah. I don't purchase them weekly, but I have quite a sizable graphic novel collection.
Yeah,
graphic novels, but not like week by week comics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I read the comic books. I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, that's probably the best piece of zombie literature ever done, I think.
Yeah, it's class.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. But yeah, I think I'm probably going to put an order in the single issues in my local comic shop for this. I think it sounds pretty cool. Yeah. I love the cheesy rages against the one foe that he can't beat himself.
It was just the way I done it, man. It was just the way I done it. Right? It wouldn't have sounded really as well if it was somebody else that said it.
I love cheesy marketing speaking. That is the height.
So do I.
You want to hear something? You want to hear something that might shock all of you?
What?
I never finished God of War 4, or whatever it's called. God of War.
Just God of War, yeah. I don't know. It's shock. Like, it happens to myself sometimes. Like jump into a game and it's brilliant. Next thing you just fall off and play someone else. Like,
I loved it. Yeah.
To be honest, with God of War, it was one of them games I picked up and I finished it flat out straight. I just played it till the end, like Red Dead or something like that. There, and I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. The storytelling in that game is just brilliant. I love the way it never cuts away from the characters. I love the way it just goes straight into the cutscenes, the fight. Like what they're called cutscenes, the movie scenes, the clips.
Yeah. It's that's actually a really good point.
It was an unbelievable. Like it never took you away from the immersion of the game. And I hope more games like do it like that. Has everyone played
The
God of
straight,
War?
I
I played like 2/3 of it. Like I got really near. I need to finish it. I got really near the end.
the stranger fight might be one of the best boss fights ever.
Yeah, and it's at the start.
It's
Who's
absolutely
that
class.
again? Oh, what's his name again?
The stranger.
Stranger.
Ball.
Oh, yeah,
Baldur.
Right at the start. Anyone that didn't play it, like play it up to that point, and I mean, if
I'm dying
don't
for
think
the
that's one of the-
for the next one to come out. Absolutely
Yeah.
dying for it.
there's a Netflix show as well, isn't there?
Supposedly, is there? I don't know if it's a good thing.
Supposedly.
I don't know that now.
Supposedly. I like the way that TV shows and games and stuff like this can do this, that they can continue stories or they can gap stories using comic books. Like, I think Buffy the Vampire Slayer went on for a good few years after it was aired, and everyone
What a
loved
show,
it.
by the
And
way.
some people said the comic books were better than the show. I suppose because they can do whatever the hell they want in a comic book series.
And they kept going with seasons as well. Like season 8 was a comic series, and then season 9 was the next series.
So it's a great piece of media. Like if they can do that whatever they want.
Also, for anyone that ever watched Firefly and was really disappointed by the travesty was
That's like
Firefly being cancelled.
Firefly is like one of them shows that every year they're on about it coming back. Every year you hear something about it. Oh, it's definitely gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen.
Yeah. For anybody who's watched
never
it
watched
and
it.
has
I've never watched it.
a lot of the blanks of that show have been filled in by the comics that were released afterwards, and they're pretty good.
Nice.
What was the movie around that show?
Serenity.
Serenity. Yeah.
Serenity, yeah. I know it's a great show. I loved it.
Yeah. Same.
Next, we have some interesting specs to show everyone. I don't know, like it's a good thing Ronan came on. Actually, he might have a better understanding of all this. Maybe actually Aiden as well. I'm not sure with John. Anyway,
I have an understanding of it.
Yeah.
Are we going PS4 specs?
Yeah, I have them up here on screen. Do you have the? I have I have it.
I'm
on
a
screen.
software man, not a hardware man. You're dead right, Paddy.
You're dead right, Paddy. Okay, so we have them on screen here. So the CPU is 8X Zen, 2 cores at 5.5 gigahertz variable frequency, and then compared to the Xbox X series, 8 cores, 3.8 gigahertz, custom Zen 2 CPU. So could anyone decipher what that means?
Yeah,
That means
there's
they're
8-core
powerful.
processors. They both have multi-threading, so each core can do 2 tasks at once.
Okay,
That's
so,
what.
So which one's better?
The Xbox.
The Xbox one runs slightly faster. They're almost identical.
Well,
but
yeah, they're so identical. Like they're nearly on par. Like it's just obviously Xbox are trying to push out that little bit more, but it's not going to be a major.
So like we won't run through them all. We won't go through every
No,
single
you don't
spec.
need to
No,
go
we
through them
won't
all.
go through every single spec here. But
No,
like what?
listen, I need to know about
important
IO
one-
throughput 5.5 GB raw, typical 8.9 GB. I need to know about that.
Sorry,
I need to know about the IO. Don't make me say it again.
which one? Oh
He's
yeah,
only
the IO.
joking, he's
Sorry.
only joking.
The important one is the Xbox has a slightly better graphics card, and the PS5 has slightly faster memory.
I'm just annoyed because it's better than my PC.
Yeah, it's equivalent to a 2080.
Yeah, 20.
Yeah, and I think that's the important part. Like the 2080. Like if you can get a system which like we're not looking at prices or anything yet, but even sub $1,000, you still have a pretty good system there.
Yeah.
It's impressive. I like the SSD. I know they cheaped out a little bit on the PS4 side of it, but the SSDs are they're really cheap now to buy. I'm sure you can upgrade that if you want to 2 terabyte or whatever you want to go with. And they're dropping in price as well. The SSDs, they used to be colossal money. But they're 2 powerful systems. Like nothing there. Like I wouldn't look at a system like that and go, "Oh my god, this is better specs." I look at a system and go, "What games are going to be on
exactly.
this system,
That's
and what games are
100%.
going to be on that system?"
That's 100% the way I am. I think most gamers would agree that that's what they want. There is some people that wouldn't. A lot of PC gamers would say, "No, it matters. This matters. That matters, and whatever." But
of course it does.
It does, and it does. But as you said, these are so close and similar. Like, is it going to make a difference as long as one of them has a better game? I'm still going to.
But
I'm a fanboy, so I'm going to go for PS5 anyway. But
yeah, that's the thing though. It's like but then the thing you have to think about as well. You're talking about the quality of the games. Anything that's coming out for the Xbox Series X as a PC player, I can play on my PC with the freaking what's it called, Game Pass.
Game Pass.
So I'm definitely getting a PS5 because I can only play it on the PS5. You know what I mean?
For me, it's the sports games and the driving games. I find playing on console is a lot easier. Especially like you can't play FIFA on PC. Do you know what I mean? And that's one of my most played games. So Yeah.
It comes out.
No, I mean, you can get it. You can get it, but it's not the way to play it.
Why not?
Just the community is on Xbox and PlayStation.
If PlayStation 5 and Xbox have some kind of Discord or something that you can intertwine the chat between the PlayStation and like, would you ever touch the PlayStation and Xbox again if you could play all games between? Like if you had a chat system, as you said, you play FIFA on your PC first, though, wouldn't you?
No, I play it on the PlayStation 100%.
You still play it, even if you could chat to everyone and play the game.
No, even if I could chat, no. I prefer it on the PlayStation for some reason.
It's a cozy game.
It is available on PC.
Yeah. It's a cozy game. It's a nice game to sit down on a big screen on a couch, play. I completely.
Okay. Okay. What's the last words in this? Do we still care what the specs?
Yeah,
are?
we do care. We definitely care.
I think the last word is. Oh, sorry.
Can I just jump in there on the SSDs, the standard state drives, how the Microsoft is actually making their own ones, and it looks like memory cards back from the old day. Can I just say that's like one of the coolest things I've ever seen?
Yeah.
Nice.
Have you guys seen that?
No.
The little cartridges, they're really cool.
But is that so you can't put a universal one in and they charge overcharge, of course. So that doesn't interest me at all. I want my cheap universal SSD.
Freaking amiibos all over again.
Right.
The PS5 is going to require PCIe 4 SSDs that run at least 6 gigs a second. They're really going all in with the memory speed. They're talking about being able to load a gig of data in a quarter of a second.
Wow.
Jesus.
Wow.
4 years.
Can you upgrade the memory? No, is the memory upgradable?
You'll be able to buy SSDs and put them in.
Okay,
nice.
But it'll have to be
SSDs.
It has to be PCIe 4 SSDs that run at least 6 gigs.
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant.
I never knew what an SSD was till about 7 months ago. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
It's the biggest difference you can
It's
make.
the biggest. I actually changed I broke the hard drive on my old laptop, and I put an SSD in it. I was like, "Where have you been all my life?" It's like night and day.
When you're building a PC, you're like, "Well, I go for the cheap, just normal hard drive," and everyone's like, "Don't do it," and then you go for the SSD, and you're like, "Thank Christ!"
Yeah. But what a lot of people do as well. What a lot of people do, what I did was they'll put their operating systems and they'll put all the important stuff on the SSD, and they won't put.
Yeah, that's.
They won't buy a big SSD because that could be pricey. And then they'll get the hard drive just to kind of store stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We're moving on.
500 gig SSD and 8 terabytes of hard drive space.
There you go. Because hard drives are the cheapest chips.
We're moving on to your favorite part of the show, boys. I know he's love it. We only brought in like the last show, but we'll go ahead with it this week. Right, we're guessing the game sales again. Can you guess what console I'm picking this week? I never tell you. I know it's amazing.
Switch.
No.
Xbox.
That's my guess. I'm wrong.
You're out of the game.
Sega.
No.
PS4.
No, that's too soon.
PS3.
No. Give Pat a turn.
PS2.
Poor Pat there didn't want to talk.
Game Boy. Walk away.
Right, Jesus. You're never going to get it.
PC.
Dreamcast.
PC. Nintendo 6. Sure, there wasn't games out of PC till 2019 when I got one.
It didn't exist before.
Didn't exist. It was
Neo Geo Pocket.
Imagine, I could probably do that. You have no idea what it soils. Right. I'm getting all squeaky. N64 gaming sales, right? These are all in the millions. Because it's the best ones. So, have you ever played Perfect Dark?
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Unbelievable game. Brilliant. Okay, what's the sales? Now, it's in millions. John, because you're in the centre.
Literally no idea, so I'm just going to go 7, baby. 7 million.
7 billion, you might as well said. Ronan.
I have no idea. I'll know more after this first round what the numbers should be.
Oh, God. 12 million.
Right, lads, these are way off, right? Let's just put that out there. Okay? This is an N64 here. No. N64. Okay? Not PS4.
Not a 63.
N64.
Not a 65.
Not a Commodore 64. Not a PlayStation 4. N64. Right? Pat, you better have a better guess, boys. I'm cutting the show off.
I will go 1.7 million.
At least you're a little bit closer.
Oh!
In
I was gonna go 1.6.
Is that your answer? Is that your final answer? Do you want to phone a friend?
No, I'll go 1.3 just to not be the dick that went right under him.
That's what she said.
I'm not sure where to go with that. Right.
I hate people that do that.
Yeah, so do we. Anyway. First game was known as 2.5. 200, yeah, 2.5. Okay, the next one, a great game as well. I've finished it many times. The lads didn't know what it was actually before when I brought it up. Star Fox 64.
Yeah, Lilac Wars.
Yeah,
Lilac
boys,
Wars.
yeah, we had a podcast before all you boys came along. He was in it. He was there. He didn't have a clue what it was. Who the hell is Star Fox? He says, I said, who are you? And, right, Pat, give us a guess.
I will go 2.3.
Okay, John.
Solid 3 million.
Solid. Roll.
2.7.
And Aiden.
2 million even.
I think John wins this one. 4 million. It's
Hey!
Oh, really?
The first one I've won since the last game.
Okay,
Whatever,
so
John.
what's the scores? It's John 1 and who else? Aiden, is it? 1-1. The next one is WWF No Mercy. I think this is the one I played. Yeah, I think this is the one I played. Is that the one where you can pick up the TVs and throw them at each other?
That's the one where they're almost like action figures, where they moved really weird. Like,
yeah.
do you know what I mean? That's a great game.
I remember playing that game. Okay, John, give us a guess.
I'm going to go lower on this one. I'm going to say 2 million.
Okay, Roland.
4 million.
Aiden.
3.2.
Pat.
I'll go 2.9.
What did you say, John?
2.
Yeah, you win again. WWF No Mercy sold 1.1 million and 20,000.
I just knew it wouldn't be. I knew it wouldn't be as much as Lilac Wars.
He's winning, boys. He's got a.
I'm like a console seller.
Can't be letting him win. Super Smash Brothers, which is a very popular game. Aiden, give us a good guess there. Oh, good one.
4.5 million.
Ronan.
3.5.
Pat.
I'll go 4.
John.
4.6 million.
I think John won it again. 5.5 million. John's winning. I think John's won. Right. Whoever gets this one gets 5 points. Super Smash Bros.
Hey, now. Is this it?
It doesn't matter about the rest of the questions. Super Smart.
Fine. This one's worth 5 points.
This is the top selling game of the Nintendo 64. If you first of all, can you guess it for 1 point?
Mario
GoldenEye.
64.
GoldenEye.
Okay, Mario 64 is the one.
Aiden
Aiden said it first.
Damn it.
It's fast finger. Okay, Aiden, give us a guess since you got it right.
11 million.
Ronan?
9.5.
Pat?
I'll go 7.
J-Dog?
7.5.
Aiden wins.
It
It sold just under 12 million, so 11,910,000. Aiden wins. Sorry, John.
Listen.
Well done, John.
The better beard
I'm
won.
not accepting this victory.
Stop it,
I'm
I'm
only
missing
joking,
football.
I'm only
That's
joking.
reminding me of football.
Okay, so we're moving on to our topic of the week. Now, these are not in any essential order or any of that there, but everybody's at the minute. I'm not saying everyone. A good number of people are at home and they're looking to play some new games. And here is some of our picks. I think we've already done one of them, which is God of War. So we probably won't talk about it again because it's brilliant. Go play it. If you haven't played it, just play it. Brilliant game. Ronan, give us a game that you think people would sit back and have an old play with.
I think one of the best games that I have jumped back into in the past week is No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
I'm actually playing it with a good friend of mine. We're checking out the multiplayer and a shout out to Matt Hart. And yeah, we jump in. There's a couple of different game modes you can do. A normal mode, but I am also playing the permadeath mode. So it's one life and everything wants to kill you. And it's actually a really good run. Like, you're just trying to survive at the very start. You're trying to get enough supplies real quickly. the game, I'll put it out there, the game has turned into an absolute monster. Really interesting story that you're kind of following along. There's always something to do, somewhere to go, and just to be able to look at a planet and go down and scan it and see what materials are on it. For me now at the moment, it's the best escapism game that you can play, because it literally is out of this world.
What platforms are they on? Is it on all of them?
It's on PC. It's PC and PlayStation definitely.
Yeah.
Or is it just PS4? Hold on a second.
No, it's on PC. It's on PC.
It's on PC, is it?
Yeah.
I'm playing on PS4 at the moment.
That has a VR as well, does it?
It does.
It does. I actually played it in VR.
Yeah.
Very good as well. Yeah. It's so chill. The music in it is phenomenal. The art style is really nice. And because it's upgraded so much now, every planet you land on just feels unique and different, and it has its own wildlife, and some of it wants to kill you, and some of it you can feed it and you can use it to ride around the planet on. Like the start is the same for everyone. You wake up on a random planet and you literally have to get your ship ready to take off. So you've no supplies at the very start, and you're trying to gather and fix your equipment. And then you get into the spaceship and you can take off. You can land on different space stations that have shops and stuff that you can buy.
Does that have a set storyline, or is it just your?
It does, yeah.
Story?
No, it didn't at the start, and that's what a lot of people gave out about, that it was literally just you make your own story. But now you literally have a story that you're following. There's characters that you meet. There's also a hub now, which is kind of like a hub in Destiny, where all the online players go to meet. I think it's called an anomaly, and when you go into it, you can talk with other players, you can join up with them. The lobby in a multiplayer game, you can have up to 4 people play it, and it really is class. You can create bases on planets, and if somebody wants to just escape, that's my number one.
Is it cross-play? You probably is not.
No, it's not crossplay.
No, unfortunately.
Wait, just really quickly, you should be. There's a very good documentary on YouTube, Internet Historian. It's about basically the first half of the documentary is from the people's point of view, like and how it feels like they got screwed over, and then the second half of the documentary is about was Hello Games.
Hello Games. Yeah,
it shows their perspective, and it just shows that like they really weren't a villain in the whole. It's a fantastic documentary. It's
I know that anyway, but I definitely will check it out. Hello Games, the problem with them was they got big all of a sudden. They were the indie developer team that Sony comes knocking on your door, and then they're kind of promoting the game to the world. Everybody wanted to play it at the start, and Sony, like any big company, wanted that game out. Probably rushed it.
Yeah,
rushed it a little bit.
Oversold it as well a bit, I'd say.
I think Hello Games should be just, the pat on the back to them, because they have turned that into, honest to God, it's an absolute beast. Yeah,
I would be inclined to give it a shot. I've never ever even touched that game. I've never played it. I've barely seen anything about it. It's always been in the news. It's always been around. It's just one of them games that sits in the side end that I could try and dabble my hand.
And I have played Elite Dangerous, and I also love Elite Dangerous.
I download that as well. I never played it, to be honest.
It's a really good game. It's more kind of sim-like. It's very, very complicated at the start to get into, but now playing No Man's Sky with a friend, that is the best kind of space adventure game that I've played, and there is a few of them out there now at the moment. The only other game, and this is just a quick one for everyone, I downloaded Alien Isolation. I know the isolation is in there, but again, it's a single player game. It's 25 hours, and I think because I'm in the buzz of playing in space with No Man's Sky, I want to jump back into Alien. And anyone that hasn't played that game, what a game!
I jumped in that game. I don't know if it seemed to take so long to get going in that game. I ended up falling off it. I think I was playing the game for a good nearly an hour or something, and it just felt like nothing was happening. Like, I don't know if maybe I was doing something wrong or something like that. I suppose that's the issue that people have with the game. But if you, like myself, like, Alien is my favorite movie of all time, like, hands down. Anyone that ever asked me, that's the number one pick. And even in the movie, it's that slow start, and then it picks up and it gets ridiculous. That's probably true,
and they do the same in the game. Like, they have, the real quiet moments at the start. You're kind of uncovering the world, and then all of a sudden the alien is dropped in, and everything changes after that. You start getting flamethrowers. You're trying to move through the what's the Sevastopol station is the setting, and it's just a station that's been basically abandoned, and there is something living on the station.
True.
Anyone that wants to play it. It really is top class.
Spoilers, it's an alien.
Yeah, there you go. Spoilers.
Pat, what about you? What would you recommend people jumping into?
Well, I would recommend any fighting game that isolation is kicking in, but I'd say the first thing I would recommend is probably Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's one that's quick and easy to get into, but then if you want to master it, there is quite a bit there to get a good grasp of. But it's not too overwhelming compared to other games that I played. Like, as much as I love Tekken, it can get pretty complex when you start to delve really deep into it. But I'd recommend Dragon Ball FighterZ. Is if someone wants to get into fighting games, this would be a good one to jump onto, just with how simple it is to get into to begin with, and then you can sort of build up from there and play other games.
Is the FighterZ, is it the one where you're it's kind of open worldish, is it, and you jump from?
No.
Is it
FighterZ is a 2.5D fighting game.
Which one am I thinking of then? There's one of them that's like...
You're thinking Kakarot.
Kakarot, is it?
Yeah.
I used to love the old Dragon Ball games. You know, the old arcade style ones. I used to... Unbelievable, flying up. And even the old X-Men games. Remember them fighting games? They were brilliant as well.
The arcade ones. Yeah.
They were
Simpsons.
The graphics still hold up in those games.
Yeah, it's because the art style it'll never die. Like,
gorgeous.
It's brilliant. Even the old Dragon Ball... I was mad into Dragon Ball Z. For a time, I used to love that. Even though the episodes went on for 4 years and they never got anywhere, but they were like they're a brilliant show. They stand there for half an hour going, tune in next week, and it just starts off again.
He's still powering up.
He's still powering up. They're going to the vortex. John, you pick one for us.
I want to pick one of my favorite games of all time, and I recommend playing it on anything, but if you had a choice, get it on the Switch. It's The Binding of Isaac. That game isn't just like for a few weeks of isolation. If you get into it, I've been playing that. I pretty much play a run or two every day for the last 3 or 4 years. It's every single time. It's a roguelike. Every single time you do a run, it's completely different. You're progressively unlocking items as you go, so your next run you can find those items the next time. A lot like, and this was long before this game, by the way, like Binding of Isaac is one of the daddies. It's a lot like Dead Cells. If you like Dead Cells, every time you do a run, the stuff you've unlocked is you can find it in the next run and all this stuff. It's just so good, and there's so many secrets, there's so many different things. The new DLC is coming out at some stage. It's been announced ages ago, but they still haven't released a release date for it. The final DLC, they're finally ending it. It's the last DLC that's coming out. They're working with there was this mod version of it called Antibirth. No, it was Antibirth. It was Antichrist. And it was basically, it was so good. And people loved it so much. I could have the name wrong, by the way. But it is so good that they are now working with those guys that made that mod to make this final expansion. So it's going to be, and they were at odds for ages because the expansion got so popular that they started kind of going, I mean, you're taking a bit of a, people aren't really looking at our version of the game anymore, and they actually got a little bit salty about it. But they're actually working together now. But it's a great game. Infinite amount of fun. I don't think I'm ever going to stop playing this game. So Binding of Isaac, and especially on the Switch because you can play.
You want? Aiden, give us a one. Give us a good one.
I'm going to give someone a really long game. I think if anyone wants a really long, nice game, they can go with Dragon Quest XI. I forget the name of it. But yeah, Dragon Quest XI came out a couple of years ago. Games. I don't know if anyone here played any of them. They're actually character designed by Akira Toriyama, the same guy that does.
You're kind of cutting it out, or is that just my ear?
No, it's just a get.
All right. Try it again.
I don't know. Yeah, it's the character designs of Dragon Quest are done by a guy that does all the Dragon Ball character designs. So the games and they're just a very charming look. If you ever seen the model of the slime monster that's from them, all of the creatures have a really nice, charming look to it. And the games never get too dark, and they're just, in these sort of times, it's nice, friendly, really colorful, and just old school Japanese RPGs. And the newest one, Dragon Quest 11, is one of the best, if not the best. I don't know if I'd rather have more than it, but it's pretty, and it's, if you go into it, you'll get at least 100 hours out of it. I couldn't recommend it more.
Nice. I probably just picked myself. At the minute, I think that we all are in our own homes and stuff, so it might be a good time to jump on and play some multiplayer games that on with your mates, like we do ourselves. So at the Escape from Tarkov might be a good one. You know, at the minute as well, the player base has probably dropped down a good bit. So like if you want to jump in now to to learn the game, it'd be a good time to do it. Even Call of Duty Warzone is free to play. Anyone can jump in to play it. I think it'd be a great opportunity for anyone to jump in. It's the same as the Call of Duty. They've been around for years. There's probably a lot of people that haven't not played double negative, haven't not played a double a Call of Duty game. But I'd say try and get on with your friends once a day, chat to them, you know, keep in contact with everyone, keep the head straight. At the end of the day, we're alone, but we're not alone. There's always someone around to chat to. You know,
I think gaming is such a fantastic
opportunity to talk to your friends and stuff like that. There's plenty, like us boys ourselves, we probably see each other once, twice a year, maybe something like that. But we talk to each other nearly every day of the week. We play games with each other every week. Like that's where gaming brings people together. And at times like this, it's great to have this outlet. And don't be afraid to talk to people. Don't be afraid to phone them. Don't be afraid to FaceTime. We live in a digital age, so you might as well use this stuff to your advantage. And you're never alone. That's what gaming is about as well. You're never really alone.
I just want to echo what Patrick said there in the chat. Black Mesa, the original.
I thought you called me Patrick for a second. I was like, what?
No, sorry. He recommends Black Mesa, which is a remaster of Half-Life. I actually played that very recently and cleared it on the stream. And anyone that played the original Half-Life game, or even didn't play the original Half-Life game and wants to play an up-res version, pick up Black Mesa. Black Mesa was a fan-created mod for the original Half-Life game, and Valve loved it so much that they actually brought it onto Steam and sold it for those guys on Steam.
Nice.
It's the company is called the Crowbar. I'm going to say Assembly. That's the development team.
Nice name.
And so the Crowbar is obviously the trademark weapon of.
That's another good
Gordon
game.
Freeman.
There is any Zelda game, I suppose. Breath of the Wild. But David says Breath of the Wild is a great game to jump in on. It's a lot of time to put in. Also, Final Fantasy 15. These games can only be truly appreciated when you go at them for long periods. That's David is my cousin. I've known him my whole life, but he's the man that would put the Final Fantasy 7 on or Final Fantasy 10 on the PlayStation, or whatever was on PlayStation 2 or PlayStation, I think, and no memory card. And leave it on. I said, that's the lad there. He leave it on for days on end. Shout out to him. David, he leave it on.
Major props.
Major goddamn hero.
Major
props. Hold on, go slow. And then bring it on. That's the closest I get to real life soccer, guys.
That's it.
Let's do a Mexican wave. I don't know where we're situated.
Okay,
we're doing it. Okay.
It's
seamless.
It does.
Seamless.
Seamless.
Before we jump off, is anyone nice to say? We make some positive vibes here, guys, because there's a lot of people with negative thoughts at the minute. I think we need to be put out some.
It's never been more socially responsible to be a gamer.
That's it.
I suppose I'll jump in first. What I do want to say to everyone, it's kind of something that I've been sending out messages to my learners as well, is it's very easy to take isolation and stay indoors and, you know, go by the guidelines, and all that is absolutely brilliant. But please do not forget about your mental health. Go outside, go for a walk. I fish for a pastime, and I can still go fishing. Do you know what I mean? Don't feel like you're trapped indoors. It's so important. Even if it's go out into your back garden, have a bit of fun out there, kick a ball against the wall, just get out and as much as I love gaming, just give gaming a break every so often, because I guarantee you will enjoy it so much more if you give yourself that
100%.
break and then come back into it. I hope everyone is keeping safe and well at home, and just stay safe and keep with the social distancing, and we'll all get through it.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's like I pretty much. Oh no, work away, Eden.
Oh, it's really wash your hands.
Wash your hands, yeah.
That's the
it.
important one.
I just want a real quick shout out to my wife who's working in the hospital as well, and anyone else that is in the health sector that is risking their lives for us, because you can't say it enough, to be honest with you. They're the ones that there are safety net, and without them, we wouldn't have that safety net.
Even people in shops, care homes, anyone that's out there that has to work, that's essential. Like thanks very much for
exactly.
That's all we can do. What more can you say to them? It's just thanks. If you could give them everything in the world, they deserve a lot more than they get, recognition wise, money wise. Even when this is all over, I think people need to take into perspective what the real people and the real hard jobs are. Do you know what kind of way?
Exactly. We're the soccer players now that are on 500,000 a week.
Exactly. Like. Yeah. Sitting at home waiting for this to blow over while there's a person putting their lives on the line every week.
Yeah. And just to final note for me, it's my birthday today, so happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Boo. That's the first time Pat talked on the Megan podcast.
Great tone there, Pat.
He does have a great tone. Hooray! Hooray!
Hey!
Where's my cake?
It's there behind your green screen.
That wasn't a disaster.
I just put it here.
Yeah.
I know. All I was going to say was I was going to mirror pretty much what Rowan was saying. The sentiment, like just be kind to each other in this time. Be nice. This is definitely not the time for online trolling, all this crack. Just everybody, we're all in this together. Just be freaking nice to each other, dudes. I think that's my motto anyway, but especially now. And just take care of yourself. Stay in. Just if you can, obviously. And again, and I know Ronan just said it, but health workers, all the people that are out there working, fighting, the essential people in our communities, thank you so much. And I hope you just keep on. I hope you're all safe, and I hope you get the recognition afterwards that you deserve. Because it's just stay safe, and I love you all, and I hope you're all doing okay.
I'm gonna cry.
If you want to go at Donald Trump or Boris Johnson, feel free.
Yeah, we can't get into that, but I wish we could.
That's a different podcast.
That's on after this
podcast. Political podcast just to get all it out.
Just rant.
I will say, like, on a positive note, in terms of our government, I think they've done a bloody good job in implementing what they have implemented and trying to really kind of push the health system and be prepared for this. Like, so props to them. I know it's a standing government, and we can all have our opinion on who's standing in, but I think they've done a bloody good job, and I think Leo has done a good job as well. So fair play to him.
It's kind of good not to see them. They're not all about the money, to be honest.
Yeah, it is. They're putting the people first,
people's lives first, which is
change.
Unlike,
I rarely have good things to say about Leo Varadkar, but a doctor as a leader during this time
exactly
might not be a bad idea.
Exactly, dude. I think his partner is a doctor as well. So
yeah. I do watch the closed construction sites. Though. The one thing that I'm really
weird. I get that's probably a bit of an economy. Like, well, so technically, if they follow these regulations, then we can keep them open. But it's a risk, and I know that buildings. It's a tough one.
I'm a plumber by trade, and I tell you one thing: there's no when you're working on them kind of jobs, there's no meter distances and stuff like that.
Fair enough.
You have to be close. Yeah. You have to be close to do stuff for like a lot of the time. Yeah. Well, for me, a plumber, you're probably working yourself a lot by yourself a good bit. But you do need help with things. People putting windows up need help. There's 2 people to windows. There's 2 people doing this. There's 2 people to that. And there's probably way more. And you're always in a certain area, as you said. But they're taking the risk of their lives as well at the end of the day. But these businesses have to stay open. It's the balance between the economic state and health. Is a lot of people that are self-employed, that you could have a brickie that's self-employed with 3 people under him. They're looking for him to wages. They need to keep the wages coming in. You know, that kind of way. It's hard to. I suppose we're in no position to be experts anyway, but we're sending out positivity to everybody and hoping everyone stays well and fit and keeps the mental health, as I say, important. We're going to have Jigsaw contacted us to come onto the show, so they're coming on next week. We're going to be doing.
Awesome.
I don't know how many of them with me. Maybe we'll get 2 of them on. I definitely have one of them on to talk to us about the mental health, especially they focus a lot on young people between the ages of, I think it's 15 and 25 or something, but obviously it's for everyone. They're going to be giving you tips on how to stay active and keep your mental health in the right place at this time. I suppose we can leave. Go on.
Yeah,
go on.
just one more thing on that as well. For anyone that is working at home at this time, and there is a lot of people working at home, including myself, I have got myself into a really good routine. So if you want any advice or tips or any of that kind of stuff on how to get your routine going at home, just give me a message and I'll do my best to help you out.
Ronan, do you want to give any shout outs there before we go? Your shout out?
For where the
For
good
yourself,
folks can find me, is it?
For the good folks can find
yeah,
you.
so, yeah,
You're not hosting.
Shut the hell up. It doesn't matter where you're from.
Go on.
I'm on a bit of a wrestling buzz. I watched Fighting with Family on Netflix. I'd recommend anyone go and watch that thing if you're into old school wrestling.
Yeah, I watched that. It's very good.
Yeah,
It's brilliant.
Pretty fun.
Yeah, it's a fun flick. In times like this, it was well needed for me. But yeah, you can get me. I'm actually back streaming on Twitch now, pretty regular. The Alpha Fox Gaming over on Twitch. I'm thinking of changing that up maybe to Alpha Fox TV or something or other. You can get me on Twitter. I'm kind of on there, just kind of floating around. If you tag me in anything, I'll see it. Also Facebook, the Alpha Fox, and my personal favorite, Instagram, the Alpha Fox as well. I'll be putting up clips and stuff over there, and get me on the Republic of Players community.
Pat?
Right. Where you can get me is you'd also find me on the Republic of Players community. The videos put up on the YouTube. Some of them done by me, some are done by our great John, and all together done by Alpha. So doing content.
The great John. Did you hear that?
The great John. There's no greater John than you, John.
Never a truer word said in this podcast.
I'll take it.
Take it.
And you're the best. No, actually, Paddy, I can't actually say that.
Say whatever you want. He's gone.
I love you too, Pat.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can find me on Twitter at PatGoneMad with a capital O at the end.
John, since you're mad to talk right now.
Me?
You.
Can't find me anywhere, lads. I'm at here. I'm at home. Nobody can find me. No, people can find me. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, everything. Check 20 for gaming, TOOOLD for gaming on a social platform, and I'm probably on it. So that's me,
Mr. Aiden.
Yeah, if you want to hear me talk about anime and a different setting, I'm on a different podcast called Show Owen, SHOWOWENEN. You can also find me on Twitter at AIDSMC. I'm sorry, it's a terrible Twitter handle. We go through this every week.
I know, but it's like if people are looking to sponsor us.
I love the way you're self-aware, but that's even better.
I hate it.
You know, it'd be worse if you're like, what are they talking about?
I was called AIDS for so long by so many people as a nickname, and it just stuck. And yeah,
were they really your friends, Aiden?
They were.
Like, are you sure?
Yeah. I called them worse.
I bet. For myself, I'd probably be my internet finally got fixed. It's like my birthday. So I'll be back streaming again. Wait, again.
Somebody always has to take my touch. Happy internet to you. I'll give you that.
It's been so long. No.
Hooray!
You can find me there on the Republic of Players on Twitch. You can find me on the community. You can find me anywhere you want to find me. Email me. Find me on the website. Blah, 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 blah. Everyone stay positive. Everyone stay happy. Wash your hands. Keep the social distancing, and we'll all get through this together. And we'll see you this time next week, 9 o'clock, hopefully on the dot. Goodbye. Good